let's beat this Lippert level up system a little more. Specifically, I'm going to talk about and show you how to test this dual polarity solenoid and motor so that you know if the solenoid is good or not, or if the motor is good or not. And we'll do that here in just a moment. So while we're getting ready to show you what to do, just finished mowing the acre yard here. Looks pretty good, don't it? But back to the Alpine, and I'll see if I can further explain a little bit of the fuzziness out there that some folks might be having. This is a very simple system. The equalizer system is basically the same. It's got a hydraulic pump motor. It's got a dual polarity solenoid, and it's got hydraulic valves, but they're mounted all up on the manifold. So we'll go over this here and see if I can clear up how to test these two items here so that you know if they're working or not. So what I'm going to do is show you how to test both of these items at one time. Lippert's got a different test procedure, but I think this will work just as easily for you. So if you look up on the top of this dual polarity solenoid, there's three terminals. You'll see one on the left, and you'll see one in the center, and you'll see one, get my big finger out of the way, you'll see one right here. And the end terminals on that dual polarity solenoid, what they do is there's a large cable attached to each one of those. One of them runs down here to the minus side on the motor, and the other one that's up here that you can't see runs around the back side on the other side of the motor. And the center post is a positive feed, and this comes directly from your 50 amp or 80 amp breaker if you've upgraded it, directly from the battery. So this post is hot all the time, and what we're going to do, you can see that I've attached a red lead to the center positive post on this dual polarity solenoid. So that means that the end of this wire has 12 volts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch this to the retract side of the solenoid, and you'll hear the solenoid click and you'll hear the motor run, and we're only going to do this just for a second or two. You heard the loud click, and you could hear the hydraulic pump motor run. And now we're going to do the same thing on the left side, which is the extend side, and we're just going to touch this wire here, and you could hear the pump run, and you could hear the solenoid click, and you could also hear the motor kind of sound a little funny. The reason it sounded a little funny is I'm trying to tell that pump to extend something, either the landing gear or the hydraulic slides, but since I have not sent any signal down to this hydraulic valve on the front landing gear, and we did not send any signal to any of these three hydraulic valves that you see up on the manifold, nothing can open. So the hydraulic pump is going to try to run, but with all the valves electrically closed, the fluid can't go anywhere. So that's why you heard that funny sound. Okay, so now I've gotten out my real expensive toolkit. This is my $29.95 do-it-all kit. And yes, I carry a lot of other tools in the toolbox on the pickup truck, way more than needed. But most of what's in this toolkit, there's not much that I can't fix on this Alpine except for a suspension bolt or an axle bearing, something like that, and I have tools for that. But anyways, I'm going to show you how to manually open this hydraulic valve on the front landing gear and manually run this hydraulic pump and dual polarity solenoid while standing over here. The control panel's not turned on and no one's over there to run it. And so I'm going to show you what you can do if you're in a bind and your control panel or your forward module goes out. Okay, so what I've got in my hand is a 5/32 Allen wrench with a short end on it, and you want to set Allen wrenches with this short end or you'll never get to these hydraulic valves way up here, because you've got about 3 to 4 inches of clearance between the hydraulic valve end and the bottom of the floor up inside on the bedroom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the easy one, and we're going to take this Allen wrench and we're going to stick it in here, and we have the Allen wrench now inserted into the end of the Hydac valve on the front landing gear. And what we're going to do is manually open that Hydac valve. And when I do that, then I can manually run this hydraulic pump from the side using this jumper wire that you see attached to the center post of the dual polarity solenoid. And I'll simply go to either the extend or the retract, or excuse me, the retract side or the extend side to move these two front landing gear. Your front landing gear are connected hydraulically in tandem, and they're isolated from all the rest of the hydraulic gear. Okay, so I've opened up this Hydac valve by turning this counterclockwise, or excuse me, clockwise, and so it's fully opened. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this jumper wire that I have. I'm standing right here at the side of the Alpine, and I'm going to hit the retract side with this jumper wire right here to the solenoid. And you can see that the front landing gear is lowering, and it sounds a little different than what it would if you were operating it from the control panel. But as you can see, we've lowered the front landing gear quite a bit. The Hydac valve is still manually opened. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the front landing gear simply using a jumper wire. And you can see that the pump is running, and you can see that the front landing gear is coming up. Okay, so I've shown you how to manually open this Hydac valve so that I can run right from here with this simple piece of jumper wire. I can run this dual polarity solenoid and this hydraulic motor, and I can make these landing gear move up or down. And the only reason I'd want to do that, of course, would be as if my Lippert control panel went bad, or if the forward control module went bad. I could still electrically run everything right from here. And if I wanted to do the curb side or the right-hand side levelers, I would simply go up and insert the Allen wrench up on the top on this Hydac valve, open it up, and run the pump again with that jumper wire. Once I got that side where I wanted it, then I close it with the Allen wrench, and then come to this one here and do the same thing. Manually open it up with the Allen wrench, run the pump with the jumper wire, and then once I got the side extended and leveled where I wanted it, then manually close again with the Allen wrench. I could also do the same thing over on this last Hydac valve, which operates my slides. I could manually open or close the slides right from here. I don't even need to go inside and use the slide switch if I wanted to do it right from here. And so that's, if you had electrical problems with your control panel, if your in-command tablet, for the new owners, your hydraulic slides are controlled from the in-command. There is no switch like mine has, and so you can run those slides, the hydraulic slides, in or out right from here with this simple jumper wire. And you know, we'll demo that one more time. We still have the valve is manually open, so we'll go to the retract side and we'll retract this, and you can see that I'm standing right here, and I'll let go of this wire off the retract side. Everything is stopped, and now we're going to come up here and touch the wire to the extend side, and you can see in fact that the front of the fifth wheel is raising up. And so I don't need in command. I don't need that Lippert control panel to work. I don't need the forward module up in my front cargo bay here. If that thing burned out and died, I really could care less. The only function that I can't do is I can't do an auto level, but I could manually extend extend and retract my levelers to get the Alpine level, or to get it hooked or unhooked off the truck. And I don't need this, and I don't need the control panel over on the side. So hopefully that might clue you folks into some things you could do in an emergency if you had issues. And so wrapping this up, what we're going to do now is manually close this valve again, and we are turning this counterclockwise. And so we want to turn this Allen wrench out until it's just snug, like so. Remove the Allen wrench. And then I have my jumper wire up here on the center post on this dual polarity solenoid. And so we're going to take that off. And now the system is completely back to normal. And what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and do another auto level, since I had that high deck valve manually opened up, and now I've closed it. And we'll let the Alpine re-level itself like it needs to be. And we'll walk back around here to the other side, and hopefully that video might help you folks out just a little bit. And darn, that yard looks pretty good mowed. We'll catch you folks later. Take care.